I anticipated not liking the Goblin Queen, but it has exceeded my expectations. It is definitely not the design that I would have conjured up, but for what it is, it was implemented pretty seamlessly into Clash of Clans, unlike some other skins that stick out like a sore thumb. Jungle King. In my opinion. When a hero skin has a strong personality, it always adds some brownie points to it. The Goblin Queen has a fairly strong personality. She's a happy goblin who's also very mischievous. Most goblins always seem to be happy for some reason. I will say that I do prefer hero skins that are smiling, because there's something just psychological about someone else smiling at you that also makes you feel happy. One thing that's puzzling and also kind of funny is she doesn't have any fireworks in the bucket on her back, aka her quiver, so I don't know where she could be getting all the fireworks from. Overall, I'm gonna rank her design in the A tier. When watching her selection animation, it's really fun to see her so excited about shooting off fireworks. I also like to watch the HD render video because we get to see a couple things that we don't get to see in game. We get to see her shoot the firework and it actually explode up in the air, and then a bunch of gold rains down on her. She has a custom pose animation, and I like the belly laugh because it further displays her cheerful personality. When she's walking around, she has a bent over posture, which is a perfect way to represent that goblin character in the queen. When she attacks, I love this animation. She doesn't shoot her fireworks per se. She simply just uses the pickaxe and her hand to guide the firework in the right direction, unlike the other skins that actually have a bow that's shooting. I just find it funny that she's improvising and using her pickaxe as her bow. I like her knockout animation because it actually looks realistic to me. A lot of other knockout animations for hero skins have some weird jittery movements that don't seem quite natural, but this one is really solid. And she has a pretty standard resting animation, but it makes me laugh when she's snoring because her mouth opens to a size that doesn't seem possible. Overall, her animations are going in the A tier. About 50% of her sound effects are custom. For her selection sound effects, some of them sound kind of gross, but I guess that just adds to the gnarly mannerisms of a goblin. I don't hate them, they just sound kind of disturbing. Here's her post sound effect, and I can't deny they sound exactly like what I imagine a Goblin Queen would sound like. She has a very simple attack sound effect, but it makes sense because the only thing we would hear in that situation is the shrill of the firework and then the impact sound. So no complaints here, and it's also nice that it's similar to the air defense sound effect, but it's not just a copy and paste. She does not have a custom deployment, ability, or knockout sound effect, but that's not unexpected for a gold pass skin. They're usually not decked out in sound effects. To understand how I'm gonna decide the final rank of this skin, you have to look at this chart that I made for the system that I use to rank gold pass skins. For the sound effects, I'm gonna add 1 point because she has sound effects and they're pretty average, but they're not over the top. I'm gonna do the same thing for visual effects. I'm gonna either add 1 point for average visual effects or 2 points if it has above average visual effects. And for design and animations, I'm ranking it in a tier and then giving points accordingly. And the final bracket of the point system is based on the price. For a gold pass skin, if it's just an average skin, we're not gonna give it any extra points, but if it's just such an amazing gold pass skin that it feels like it should cost more or even be a legendary skin, I'm gonna give it an extra point. Now for her visual effects, first I need to point out that she has a constant visual effect. I could say that she has custom visual effects for each aspect of the skin, but technically the flame that's on her firework is always there, so I can't really count it as a unique visual effect for say her walking and her knockout and her sleeping animations, because it's always there and it's not unique to each of those circumstances. So she has this constant flame for everything except her selection animation. For her selection animation, she does actually have a slight custom visual effect. It's very subtle, but it happens when she shoots her firework up in the air. The only other custom visual effect she has is when she's attacking. Instead of the default arrows that the queen shoots, they obviously gave her fireworks instead that fly through the air and hit the buildings. If they didn't do that custom visual effect, then we would have a problem, but it is kind of expected, so I'm glad that they did it. She doesn't have any custom visual effects for her pose animation, walking, deployment, ability, knockout, or resting. So this is about average visual effects for a gold pass skin, so she's gonna get 1 extra point. The design of the Goblin Queen was surprisingly well executed. When I first got a glimpse of the skin, I did not have high hopes, but it actually turned out okay. I really like her personality. I really have nothing to complain about. It's not an overly remarkable skin, but it was unexpectedly good. So her design is in the A tier, animations are in the A tier. She gets an extra point for sound effects and visual effects. No extra points for price because she's about an average gold pass skin. It doesn't feel like she should be worth more. And overall, if you like the design of this skin, because I know it's probably a controversial design, I would recommend buying her. I'm putting her in the A tier. And if you want to know what I think about the Goblin Warden, here's the video right here you can check out.